I met one such student.
Gum at the door-to-door, a national public service initiative.
A very good evening and welcome to this Sunday's edition of News First Weekend, coming to you live from our News First studios in Colombo. I'm Arundhati Mudanayaka. Let's start off with a look at the stories making headlines this evening.
President takes a stand against the underworld. No harm caused to unborn child of expected mother injured in Lanka shooting. Youth deprived of independence at Independence Square. Nate Diaz shocks Conor McGregor with submission win in UFC 196.
President Maithripala Sirisena says that he will not allow the freedom of the people to be compromised by underworld gangs.
President Sirisena made this statement while addressing the prize-giving ceremony of the Sri Abhayarama Viharaya Sucharita Dhamma School in Narayanpeta this morning. Today, the underworld is gradually beginning to raise its head. So your biggest task is to prevent this from happening. It is my belief that if the police is given the freedom to carry out their duties accordingly, they will make sure that this does not happen. I also believe that if we maintain and improve the mutual friendship between the two of us, we can accomplish this goal.
I first came to this Viharya somewhere in the 1980s, and I come here today after a lapse of a year and a half. Venerable Thera, when I got here and opened the door to get off the car, DIG Pujit Jayasundara was the first person I saw. So while looking at you, I asked DIG Pujit Jayasundara if he isn't on underworld security today. Just a few days ago, I personally contacted the Inspector General of Police, DIG of the Southern Province as well as the DIG of the Western Province to immediately control the activities of the underworld gangs and do whatever it takes to eradicate it. I have also instructed the police and the army to undertake a joint effort to take every possible legal measure immediately to control underworld gangs. It must be clearly stated that we as a government will not allow criminals and underworld gangs to disrupt the lives of the people who are living in freedom, harmony and happiness.
Murders were reported in a number of areas across the island today as well.
An individual who contested for the Baddegama Pradeshi Sabha from the United National Party at the previous local government election has been killed using a sharp weapon. The victim, 40-year-old Gayan Dilanta, was a resident of the Vaturava area in Allakanda, Vanduraba. The incident had taken place around 8:45 p.m. yesterday. The victim was returning home on his motorcycle when the attack occurred. The suspect has been taken into custody.
A friend called me and told me that my brother Gayan was stabbed and asked me to come to the hospital. I got a three-wheeler and I left. I went to the hospital and that is when I got to know that he was dead. Otherwise I wouldn't have known. I did not imagine for a moment that he would be dead.
A bloody corpse was discovered around 10 this morning inside a house in Oshadwata in Nitambua. The police said that the deceased was identified as a 37-year-old married man named Don Atula Sanjeeva. A neighbor who had arrived to meet him had found the body when he inspected the house. Meanwhile, a surgery has been carried out on the pregnant mother who was shot yesterday opposite the Valikada prison. She was shot last afternoon opposite the Valikada prison after she had gone there to visit a detainee. She is a resident of Dehiyovita. A surnal surgery was carried out by two groups of surgeons on the woman who was injured yesterday. She has received serious wounds on the shoulder and her hand. She was admitted to the ICU from the accident ward subsequent to the surgery. The respiratory aid has been removed. There are no issues with regard to her pregnancy. It must be clearly stated that we as a government will not allow criminals and underworld gangs to disrupt the lives of the people who are living in freedom, harmony and happiness.
Speaking at an event held in Kandy today, UNP parliamentarian S.N. Marika said the government would take the responsibility of tackling the underworld scourge.
The government will clearly take responsibility for tackling the crime wave. We cannot use white vans to kidnap and murder political opponents, parliamentarians, judges, rugby players or journalists in the name of stopping crime. There are many people who were abducted and murdered with no evidence. We cannot allow that situation to rise again. The murders in Kotaketana occurred under his regime. The murders there were stopped under our regime. The same will happen here. MP Marika made this statement during a visit to the chief prelate of the Malwatu chapter, Most Venerable Tibbatuave Sri Sumangala Thera, to inform him on a proposal to ensure that Sunday mornings are allocated solely for Dhamma education.
The Gum at the Door-to-Day campaign, a national public service initiative, toured across the island today as well, inquiring into the issues faced by the rural community. The initiative entered day 12 of its island-wide campaign today.
Gum at the Door-to-Door, a national public service initiative.
The villagers of the Singhapura in Valikanda celebrated the end of the 30-year-long conflict with boundless hope that the dawn of peace would bring the benefits of development to their village. However, the Newsfirst Gamada team, which visited the area, witnessed firsthand the shattered dreams of its people. This agrarian community has been forced into abandoning agriculture as they can no longer protect their crops. The authorities' efforts to save face as wild elephants ravage farmland has forced the villagers to despair. While electric fences constructed by private investors paid with taxpayers' funds have made the village unsafe, the destruction wrought by wild elephants is made evident by this house belonging to Biso Manika.
This is the home of Tikiri Banda and Biso Manika. After spending some time here, one wonders whether revenue earned through the mansion's tax imposed via the last budget could be used to renovate homes like this one. Take a look at the roof. There is nothing that has not been used to prevent it from collapsing. It is being held together by coconut shells, pieces of wood and various other materials. The only source of income they had to build this house was their paddy harvest. This is where the paddy was stored. But that income stream has been destroyed by wild elephants who crashed through this wall. Now they have no harvest, no income and no means of renovating their home. 2 months have passed and pleas made to the authorities have fallen on deaf ears. Biso Manika asked us who she can take her woes to.
In the face of the human-elephant conflict, the people here have been forced to struggle to protect not only their crops but also their lives. This is a pigsty that is being operated on a plot of land that comes under the purview of the Mahaveli scheme. Amid the complaints received from all the residents of this village, we visited the pigsty, noting that it cannot be disregarded. Upon our arrival, we witnessed firsthand the truth in the villagers' complaints.
We spoke to the people here regarding the problems caused by environmental pollution. Let's listen to some first-hand accounts. All of the waste from the pigsty goes to the Singapore River, which the people depend on for all their water needs. They use it to drink, bathe and cultivate their lands. The reservoir is polluted. The fish are dying and major environmental destruction has been caused.
We withstood the unbearable stench to witness the pollution that has been caused as a result of this pigsty. The The News First come at the team touring the northern province visited the Mullikulam area in Mannar today. While going from door to door inquiring into the issues the locals face, our team stumbled upon the Mullikulam Tamil School. The external appearance of the building shows that this is a school. However, the students' education process is not as elegant as its buildings. The school accommodates students from up to grade 1 to 10. However, due to the scarcity of teachers, a student is taught just 4 subjects a day.
The News First come at the team came to the Mullikulam village, where the students here face a significant problem. I met one such student. Ungalukku per enna?
Nirusa.
Ungada ambition enna?
Doctor.
Nirusha would like to be a doctor when she grows up. However, is this practical given the present circumstances of the school?
எனக்கு டாக்டர் ஆகணும்டா இங்கே ஆங்கில டீச்சர்ஸ் இல்லை ஒழுங்கான டீச்சர்ஸ் இருந்தும் நான் இன்னும் மக்களுக்கு சேவை செய்யணும்னு ஆசைப்படுறேன். என் டாக்டர் வந்து ஒரு கேள்விக்குறியாக இருக்குது. டீச்சர்ஸ் இங்கே ஒழுங்கா இங்கிலீஷுக்கு இல்லை, வரலாறு கொஞ்சம் பாடங்களுக்கு இல்லை. அதான் டாக்டர் ஆகாது எனக்கு கேள்விக்குறியா, எனக்கு ஒரு டவுட்டாக இருக்குது.
Another team went in search of the fishing community in the area who are facing severe issues due to the Mullikulam tank, which has not been renovated for many years.
I have been fishing since 1990. We do not have enough to spend now. We do not have nets and boats.
The team in the southern province commenced their campaign from the Pallegama Sri Kettarama Vihare in Deniyaya today. The Satmale tank, which falls under the purview of the Kottapola Divisional Secretariat, came to the attention of the News First come at the team.
A bunt has been constructed and a situation where the village will be destroyed has arisen. Around 1,000 come here daily to witness the Satmal Allah. We urge the government not to destroy this waterfall and our village.
Our team continued their quest in the search of issues faced by the rural community by visiting the Maul-Deniya, Singapuligewatta and Palmilahela areas. This group in the Maul-Deniya area who do not possess legal land deeds presented their issues to the News First come at the team.
What we ask is that the reasons the land cannot be handed out be resolved and that it be handed to us.
Singapuligewatta is a village which is home to many farmers. These farmers who live with many hardships spoke to News First of their situation.
Rainwater is used for these lands. We have made requests from the authorities, but no authority has provided us with a solution.
Another team which visited the Sellakandewatta area in Deniyaya looked into the grievances faced by the people living in estate houses. These estate houses, which provide shelter to 130 families, are nearly 200 years old.
We do not have proper sanitary facilities. We have to work for 22 days to get 600 rupees per day. We do not have work at the estate to work for 22 days. It has all turned into a forest now, or else we will only get 450 rupees.
The News First come at the team drew its attention to the crisis of the people in Mugunamulla, Navalahena, Kalbokka, Olukumbura and the new Hatlishaya village due to the improper and insufficient transport service they are provided with. News First come at the team visited a village which only has a truck service instead of a bus service.
This is how the residents of the area travel from Berlapanakara to Deniyaya. The only request from these area residents is to reconstruct this road and help them to overcome this problem. Reporting from Deniyaya, I'm Mazrasan for News First.
This is the road which leads to Beralapatana via Batandura, Deniyaya.
Gum at the door-to-door, a national public service initiative.
Unparalleled island-wide campaign, Gum Up the Door-to-Door. News First, Sri Lanka's largest and most influential news provider, together with the University of Peradeniya, takes the unprecedented step. walking from home to home, asking people this one simple question: what would make your life better? From the 24th of February to the 18th of March, covering all 25 districts, ensuring the very last home in each village is covered. A revolutionary campaign with one aim: giving a voice to the voiceless.
Independence Square at Colombo 7 is a symbol of Sri Lanka's freedom. But do all of the country's citizens have the freedom to use this public space?
This is Independence Square in Colombo. Many people visit this iconic landmark every day to spend their leisure time in relative peace and quiet. Given the name of the square, many citizens may believe that they can spend their leisure time here in the spirit of freedom. However, social media is rife with reports that certain sections of the populace have been forced to face some unpleasantness at these premises. Don't people visiting Independence Square have the right to sit here freely?
There is no rule that couples cannot go there. Even in the past, people have obtained permission to take wedding photographs here. The rule is that loitering is not allowed. You can go there. The place has a historic value. It is not something that was built recently. It was built long ago. You can come and see it. You can study it. It is not like a park. I sent the assistant director there after I received the message in the morning. This is public property, so the public can go there and see the monument.
Newsfirst also made inquiries from the company in charge of the guards at the centre of this incident.
Meanwhile, demonstrators gathered at Independence Square this evening to protest the incident faced by the young couple in the video clip that has gone viral on social media platforms. Deputy Minister Harsha De Silva was also present at the demonstration.
අර අහිංසක මේ පුද්ගලයෝ දෙන්නව එළවල දැම්මේ. මෙතන පැහැදිලිව කියනවා නම් සර් මෙතන යන්නේ නිදාස් ස්මාරකය. පිළිගන්න තැනක්. හරි. මෙතෙන්ට එනවා කපල්ස්. සාමාන්‍ය ෆොල්ඩ් එකනේ. මමත් දන්නවා පෙමුදෙන් කොහොමද හැසිරෙන්නේ. නෑ නෑ මෙතිය හදන්නේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුව. ඔයාලට තියෙන්නේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ හදන නීතිය ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන්න විතරයි. අපි මේ රටේ නිදහස අරන් දීලා තියෙන්නේ. මේක නිකුරුනේ මේක කැවසෙන්නේ. ඉතින් නිකරුනේ කියන්නේ අපි ඇවිල්ලා මෙතන මමත් කොතර වෙලා මෙතන ඇවිල්ලා මගේ පවුලත් එක්ක ඉන්නවද? සමහර දවස්වල දරුවත් එක්ක ඉන්නවා සමහර දවස් දරුවා නැතුව එනවා.
There's a subsidy of Land Development and Technician Corporation. The security is done by that security firm at the Independence Square. But we are working, the rules given by the cultural department. But anyhow, when the protest is happening today, one of our direct operations has gone and involved with that one. That is not acceptable at all. Therefore, I have decided to suspend his services with immediate effect, and there will be a proper inquiry on that. Thereafter, we will take the further action of this manner. Therefore, I must apologize from the people what they have faced for the inconvenience with that one. Anyway, we will rectify this as soon as after the inquiry is finished. Thank you very much. I am the chairman of Land Reclamation and Development Corporation, as well as the subsidiary of this security firm as well.
Addressing a media briefing in Colombo today, MP Dinesh Gunawardena claimed the government is facing a financial crisis.
අමාත්‍ය මණ්ඩල රැස්වීම පැවැත්වෙන අවස්ථාවට ඉදිරිපත් කරනු ලැබුවා කැබිනට් පත්‍රයක්.
A cabinet paper was presented at the cabinet meeting. This paper was about new proposals on implementing new taxes and cutting down on welfare activities as the country is facing a severe financial crisis. Therefore, we request the Prime Minister and the President to allow a debate in Parliament with regard to the country's financial crises before it worsens. At the debate, the issue must be discussed and the government must inform the Parliament about the decisions it has taken to tackle this issue. It was 2.5 months ago that the opposition raised questions on the $1 billion loan taken from the IMF. However, the Prime Minister and the Minister of Finance did not make proper statements with regard to this in Parliament.
නමුත් ඒ පිළිබඳ මගහරින ප්‍රකාශ අග්‍රාමාත්‍යතුමත් මුදල් ඇමතුමත් පාර්ලිමේන්තුවට කිව්වේ.
Speaking at an event held in Morotua today, Ranil Wickramaratne, the Deputy Minister of State Enterprise Development, commented on taxation.
The government needs revenue. This is why the cabinet decided this week to impose several taxes. There is one fundamental being followed here. We are hoping to impose these taxes only on wealthy individuals who are making profits. The proposal also introduces a tax on profits made in transactions at the stock exchange.
Former President Mahinda Rajapaksa has urged the government to table the Economic and Technological Cooperation Agreement or ETCA in Parliament before entering into the agreement with India.
Issuing a communique, the former president recommends that the government should seek the views of trade chambers, professional associations and the general public on the matter. Former President Rajapaksa proposes that Sri Lanka, which already provides a market of $4,000 million for Indian goods, must take a phased approach to entering to an ETCA with India. In the first phase, impediments to the implementation of the existing free trade agreement with India, which was signed in 1998, should be ironed out. The communique adds that the problem of Indian fishermen poaching in Sri Lankan waters, which has now reached crisis proportions, should also be resolved. The former president goes on to note that after a few years of operating the FTA to the satisfaction of Sri Lankan stakeholders, then the country can move on to the next phase and work out the specific details to broaden the relationship through an ETCA. Former President Mahinda Rajapaksa says that trying to broaden the trade relationship with India without sorting out existing problems will naturally give rise to public opposition.
Indian High Commissioner to Sri Lanka Y.K. Sinha has responded to the statements made by the former president and the joint opposition regarding the Economic Technology Cooperation Agreement or ETCA.
According to the Hindu website, speaking to the Sri Lanka India Society on Friday, Indian High Commissioner to Sri Lanka Y.K. Sinha had stated that he was surprised to come across statements made to the local press by former President Mahinda Rajapaksa regarding ETCA. The High Commissioner added that it was the government of Mahinda Rajapaksa that held negotiations with the government of India for the Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement or CEPA, which had included trade in services. Y.K. Sinha went on to note that it is quite amusing to hear the statements made by the members of the joint opposition who were ministers during the Rajapaksa regime when CEPA was being negotiated. Indian High Commissioner Y.K. Sinha made these remarks in response to the statements made that the proposed ETCA deal would deprive job opportunities for Sri Lankans.
Representatives of farmers lamenting the fertilizer subsidy scheme were given an opportunity to meet with Agriculture Minister Duminda Disanayake yesterday.
We know that every time during the harvest season when fertilizer needs to be added, people are on the streets when it's time to sell the harvest. You can do the math now. 2,000 kilos of paddy are purchased at 38 rupees each. Divided by 12 months and it amounts to 12,500 rupees. Is that enough to sustain a family? Is it enough? Paddy is priced at 19 to 20 rupees in the open market. By the gods, why are you not resolving our problem?
The fertilizer that the country needs has already been brought in with no delays. It is in the possession of state corporations and the private sector too. The Finance Ministry has assured us that funds will be disbursed within 2 weeks.
Our primary demand is that the old fertilizer subsidy system be reinstated.
You must get registered. We can come up with a plan only when we know the names, whereabouts and acreage of the farmers' crops. Only then can we identify how much we need from each area to meet the demand in the country. Is this wrong? The only mistake that we have made is that we have failed to inform you of the undertaking.
Environmentalists claim that the Sampur power plant project could have a severe impact on the country's ecosystem.
The sample thermal power plant is expected to add 500 megawatts to the national grid. 2 power generators with a capacity of 250 megawatts each will be used in the power plant. The plant, which is being constructed on a 500-acre expanse of land, is estimated to cost $600 million.
The issue posed by the construction of the thermal power plant is that with the northeastern monsoon season, the ash produced from the burning of coal at the power plant will be blown into the interior of the country. The water required to cool down the heat of the power plant would be obtained from the Kodiar Bay and from the surrounding sea area. Large amounts of water will be pumped into the plant for this purpose. At the same time, the heated water will be directed back to the sea without being cooled. This may cause a major change in the temperature and the currents. This could cause an increase in the temperature in the area. We are already witnessing the damage caused by the Nurachalai power plant. It has caused a great financial loss to the country. But we are doing the same mistake for the second time. If we take the environment into consideration, the building of thermal power plants must be stopped. I don't think thermal power plants are a suitable power generation method for Sri Lanka.
Solar Eclipse: Depth of Darkness is an upcoming Hollywood feature film based on true historic events. The production of the movie is currently being carried out at Stein Studios in Rapalana.
The Solar Eclipse: The Depth of Darkness, directed by Karim Tridia, is set to release in the year 2017. The movie deals with true events that transpired in 1948 that led to the assassination of Mahatma Gandhi. Actors in the caliber of Vinnie Jones and Stephen Lang are a part of the cast. Newsfirst had the opportunity to speak to a few members of the cast of the Solar Eclipse: Depth of Darkness movie.
And you know what? I've only been here a few days, but the love you feel from the moment you get here with everyone I've come across, I can't even tell you because I'll tear. But it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. There's so much love here that it is such a blessing to be here.
Stein Studio is it's a very nice, beautiful facility. It's nicer than many facilities I've been in the United States and in other countries around the world. It seems to be a very, very good studio. We'll be doing a lot more work there over the next couple of weeks.
I love it here. It's such a beautiful place, as you can see, the lake and everything here. It really is a beautiful, beautiful country. I feel very lucky to be here, and it's warm. It's hot. It's not like England where it's like cold all the time. So it's nice to kind of wake up in the morning and just puts a smile on your face to know you're in this beautiful place. And Stein Studios is great as well. I was just talking to you about having to wear a hot costume. It's nice and air conditioned, and it's good, and it's a beautiful studio. It really, really is.
With that, we wrap up tonight's edition of News First Weekend. Thank you very much for joining us. Good night.